Okay, so we're ready to go in, almost ready to go in, I should say, to put in our curtain wall. The one thing we need to fix is that this piece of wall here, this column color cover, only exists on the first floor, so we can change that up to level 2. And then what we can do after we move it to level 2 is actually attach its top to level 2, so that the top of this will go to the bottom of that slab and it won't go up through the slab. Now we're ready to start laying down some curtain wall. Now this building is steel framed, and as we're well aware, the walls are brick on metal stud. And in places where it's brick all the way to the top, it's mostly an exterior brick bearing wall. However, in places where we have glass in the middle, this brick is hung off of the slab, the structure, as a curtain wall. And we're going to have a lecture later in the semester on curtain wall. The windows that go in between these are done using the Revit curtain wall system. And curtain wall in Revit, it's a system of creating walls. It's not always what I would call actual curtain wall, but it helps you develop large expanses of glazing with a grid system, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. And in this case, it is actually curtain wall that hangs off of the building. So we're going to start on the first floor plan, and we go to wall, and we scroll all the way down into our curtain wall systems. Now, curtain wall 1 is generic curtain wall, and that's what we're going to be using. Exterior glazing and storefront, they have particular settings associated with them where the mullions and the glazing and all sorts of things are already set up for us, ready to go. We want curtain wall so that we can define what our curtain wall looks like without having a pre-existing set of parameters. So we're going to choose curtain wall 1. We're going to check our constraints. Our base is level 1. Well, the problem is this wall is at level 1 and it goes up to 1'4". So the base of this needs to have a positive 1'4" offset. The top constraint I'm not going to worry too much about. And the way that curtain wall works is you're drawing the center line. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw it just like walls, like any other wall. We're going to draw it clockwise. So we're going to start down here. We're going to find the center line of this wall. And you'll notice that as I draw this, the curtain wall actually goes to the outside of that center line. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to come over here and grab that center line inference. If you get this, that your walls are overlapping, don't worry. It's because the top of this wall is interfering with the brick wall above. We're just going to go corner to corner to corner, and we're going to come back to the face here. I'm going to ignore all those. Go to my 3D view, and you can see that we've placed glazing here. Now, if I select that, you can see why it gave me that overlapping error, because the top of this is into this wall. So I could, in 3D, I could just pull this down, go to an east elevation, and then I can simply use my align tool to align the top of that. And now that, again, using these align settings, it's going to give me an up to level 2 with a negative 3 feet 9 3/8. So really, I want this to be from level 1 because it's below level 2. And it's not going to let me do that because that's going to create a 0 height wall. So I have to give this a positive offset. Let's say, let's just do 5 feet for now. It's going to bump that thing all the way up there. Now I can change this to level 1. And now I can align this up to here. Go back to 3D view. And that's what I see. And now I can use my match type properties if I can get it in this 3D view, I can paint the properties from those curtain wall, pieces of curtain wall, to the other pieces of curtain wall. Now it looks like I didn't quite get this wall to come over to here, so I have to fix that. The other thing, this wall actually comes all the way out here. So I need to drag this wall out. But you see, again, we're getting this, the way that all these walls come together with their default joins, it doesn't work. So again, what I can do is I can drag this wall over, disallow join, and then bring it back to here. And now I can bring this wall, and I'm going to have to disallow that join as well because it keeps trying to join that wall, and that wall goes to there. So now that when I look in a 3D view, I can see that this wall terminates into this wall. And I may have to fix that. Yeah, let's look at the roof plan. I want to do that for all of these 3 sections of wall. I want to disallow their joins. This one looks all right, but let's double check it on the second floor. That one's going in there, but it's drawing it correctly, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And that's how we're going to do our curtain wall for the entire rest of the first floor, so all the way around to here. And on the second floor, it's essentially the same. But to review, again, I'll take you through at least this section of first floor, and I'll allow you to do it on your own on the second floor. So let's go back to the first floor. Now, I use this a lot, is we've got the parameters for this set up so that the top and bottom are exactly what we want. We can select that curtain wall, and we can right-click and say, Create Similar. And if we're on the same level that this is, it will give us all the right offsets that we need for our next batch of curtain wall. So again, drawing clockwise, I'm going to go basically I'm just tracing the center lines of these walls in a clockwise motion until I get back to here. Again, I can check that out in 3D, and there's my curtain wall. And then this final section right here, again clockwise, so I'm going right to left on the bottom of the wall, or else it would put it on the other side again. Just to show you, if I drew it this way, you see how the curtain wall is on the top of the line, the location line that is. Now again, we can check this in 3D, and that's what we have. In a later assignment, we will come in. Now, what we have here is basically a big piece of glass. In a later assignment, we will come in and add a frame to this glass using the curtain wall tools. This piece of curtain wall gets a little tricky because we don't have a wall to center it on. So if I go back to my second floor plan, now I haven't changed my view here, so I'm still looking at an underlay of the roof. And the curtain wall is on the center line of that wall that's above us in the roof. So we can use that to draw our curtain wall. So I'm going to go to Wall, Curtain Wall. Now in this case, the base constraint is 0. It is at level 2. And for now, again, we're just going to do up to level roof. Actually, no, we're going to do up to level 2 with the 13'4" offset, and that should place it where we need it. And now that I have that underlay on, I can use that center line of the wall above from the underlay to draw this section of curtain wall. Now I got a highlighted walls overlap warning, so I do want to go to 3D view and see what's going on. Now I didn't quite get that right, so that isn't quite 13'4" up there. This is where that section I cut would come in handy. And you can see that the curtain wall goes up too high. In section, I can just bring this down, and that's what I have. And it's aligned to the center of that wall exactly the way I want it to. And it comes down to the floor exactly the way I want it to. And that's that section of curtain wall. I'll let you do the rest of this on your own. The last thing that we have to do on this assignment is we have to add a few more windows to the second level. These are, again, they're in brick walls, so they're all masonry openings. And if you look at the elevations, let me see if I can find the right elevation. It would be the north elevation. The top and bottom of these walls aligns with the curtain wall. So using that information, we can figure out their heights, and we have their widths right here, 3'4" and 6'8". These are simple fixed windows. So if we go to the window, architecture window, we're just going to use the default that's in the template, these fixed windows, although we're going to edit type. The big one is, what was the big one? Let's look at that again. It is 6'8", and that distance, the height, if we measure that from the north elevation, it's 10 feet. So 10 feet is 120 inches. So we need an 80 by 120 inch window. So let's go to the second floor plan. Window, edit type, rename, 80 inches, oops, by 120. And we're going to change the height here to 10 feet and the width to 80 or 6'8". Hit OK. And now we can place that window. And essentially it's the same. We just have to create another type that's 3'4" to do these two here. Again, I always check and see what I've done in another view to see if I've got this all lined up. Now I can't really tell if these are lined up. Again, the height of this, the top of this wall, is I can select it and I can come over here to my top offset. I can copy that, and now I can come to this window and I can change my sill height, and it is different because that sill height was 3 feet, and now the sill height aligns with a brick coursing that I've gotten from here, simply copying and pasting a property.